This Wednesday, the Supreme Court is going to hear a challenge to Arizona's controversial immigration law. I thought about this law over the weekend in Springfield, Illinois. There's an annual event where a special award is given to those sons and daughters of Illinois who have done great service to our state and nation. Admiral Thunman, one of my neighbors in Springfield, was a graduate of Springfield High School, enlisted in the Navy, worked his way up to the rank of admiral in the United States Navy, and at one point commanded our submarine fleet. To think of this young man from the middle of the Midwest ending up in charge of our submarine fleet is a great testament to his ability and to the opportunity that the Navy gave him to serve his country. When he got up to receive his award, this Lincoln Award, he said, "I stand here humbled by the memory of my father, who was an illegal immigrant to this country from Norway, who came here jumping off a ship as a sailor and lived in the United States illegally until the time that he was prepared to volunteer to serve our nation in World War II." Admiral Thunman tells that story over and over, and what a reminder it is that the sons and daughters of immigrants to this country, as well as those immigrants themselves, have literally made America what it is today. 101 years ago, my mother arrived on a boat from Lithuania. Her boat came to Baltimore, Maryland, and my grandmother took her and her sister and brother to East St. Louis, Illinois, where I grew up many years later. That's my story. It's an American story, and it's one that's repeated over and over again. Immigrants are part of America. It is the diversity of America that gives us our strength. And those who hate and loathe immigrants have always been here. Probably as soon as the Mayflower landed, they looked over their shoulder and said, "We hope nobody else is coming." But the fact is, people have been coming from all over the world, and they still would rather come to this country than leave it, which is quite a testament to this great nation. Senator Lieberman made that point on the floor the other day. So this week, the Supreme Court is going to take up an important question on immigration, the Arizona law. Under the Arizona law, any undocumented immigrant can be arrested and charged with a state crime, an Arizona crime, solely on the basis of their immigration status. And it's a crime for a legal immigrant in Arizona to fail to carry documents proving their legal status under this law. Under our Constitution, states don't have the right to pass their own laws preempting federal laws on immigration. That's why the Justice Department filed the case the Supreme Court will hear this week. Let's be clear. It's wrong to criminalize people because of their immigration status. That is not the way we treat immigrants in America. It is not right to make criminals of people who go to work every day, cook our food, clean our hotel rooms, care for our aging parents in nursing homes, and care for our children as well. It is not right to make criminals of those who worship with us in our churches, synagogues, and mosques, and people who send their children to the same schools as our children. Here's the reality. This approach that Arizona law suggests will not help combat illegal immigration. Law enforcement doesn't have the time or resources to prosecute and incarcerate millions of people. Making undocumented immigrants into criminals will simply drive them further into the shadows. The Arizona Association of Chiefs of Police took a look at the new Arizona law and came out in opposition to it. They said it makes it more difficult for them to maintain order and enforce law in Arizona. Immigrants, because of this law, the chiefs of police said, will be much less likely to cooperate, and they need their cooperation to continue to fight crime. There's another troubling aspect to the Arizona immigration law. According to experts, the law encourages racial profiling. I chair the Senate Judiciary Subcommittee on Constitution, Civil Rights, and Human Rights. Last week at a hearing on racial profiling, we had the first hearing on the subject since 9/11/2001. One of the subjects we examined at the hearing is the spate of federal, state, and local measures in recent years that, under the guise of combating illegal immigration, have subjected Hispanic Americans to an increase in racial profiling. The Arizona immigration law is a prime example, and let me explain to you why. Arizona's law requires police officers to check the immigration status of any individual if they have, quote, reasonable suspicion, close quote, that the person is undocumented. What is the basis for reasonable suspicion? Arizona's guidance on the law tells police officers to consider factors as such as how someone is dressed and their ability to communicate in English. 2 former Arizona attorneys general, joined by 42 other former state attorneys general, filed a brief in the Arizona case, and they said, and I quote, "Application of the Arizona law requires racial profiling," close quote. One of the witnesses at our hearing was Ron Davis, Chief of Police at East Palo Alto, California. Chief Davis, along with 16 other current and former chief law enforcement officers, the Major Cities Chiefs of Police Association, and the Police Executive Research Forum, filed a brief in the Arizona case. Here is what the brief filed in the Arizona case before the Supreme Court by the chiefs of police said: "The statutory standard of reasonable suspicion of unlawful presence in the United States will, as a practical matter, produce a focus on minorities and specifically Latinos." Let me be clear. I think most Americans would share this belief. The vast majority of law enforcement officers in America perform their jobs honorably and courageously. When they wake up in the morning and put that badge on, they literally put their lives on the line for you, for me, and for all of us in America. Unfortunately, the inappropriate actions by a few who engage in racial profiling create mistrust and suspicion, and that hurts all police officers. The evidence clearly demonstrates, as well, that racial profiling doesn't solve crimes. It just doesn't work in law enforcement, and that's what the Chief of Police, Ron Davis, told us as well. That's why so many law enforcement leaders strongly oppose racial profiling and the Arizona immigration law. Instead of measures that harm law enforcement and promote racial profiling, like the Arizona immigration law, we need to support practical solutions to fix America's broken immigration system.